Wanna talk? So let's talk. Yeah. Talk. You wanna talk? You gotta talk, you need to talk. News talk.
I talk, you talk to Solomon. I talk, you talk to Solomon. Yeah, let's talk to Solomon. Talk to Solomon.
You gotta talk.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Talk to Solomon. That's me, Stan Solomon. I'm the host.
I'm Chief Steve Davis, the in-studio co-host.
And our out of his mind co-host, Brent Johnson from freedomradio.us. I didn't mean out of his mind. Oh, maybe I did. Brent, how are you?
Oh, doing just fine. And, I don't know if I'm out of my mind or if the rest of the world is crazy and I'm the only sane one among us.
Well, you know what? Could be just the three of us. That's all that's left. All right, I want to ask you a question. This is a quiz for all of you out there. How many children, and by children I mean under 18 years of age, are killed by guns accidentally in the United States a year? All right? How many children are born and then allowed to die by the quote-unquote doctors, nurses, and other people involved in that industry, the abortion industry? Ready? Question number one is, how many children, already alive obviously, up to the age of 18, are killed by accidental gun discharges in the United States of America a year? How many babies are born, are kicking and crying, and are allowed to die by the abortion industry a year? Are you ready? Do you have an answer there, Brent?
I do not know the answer to this.
Do you have an answer,
I
Chief?
don't know the exact answer.
All right, now listen, folks. The number of children up to the age of 18 who are killed by accidental gun discharges a year in the United States, ready, is less than 50. Actually, it's less than 25, but less than 50 on a bad year. The number of children born alive and allowed to die is over 1,200. So, you're 25 times more likely to have a child dead that is alive from an abortionist than from an accidental gun discharge. Now, where is the President of the United States focusing his efforts? To take away guns so children won't be killed accidentally. I got an idea. Let's take the guns and shoot the God-blessed abortionist, and then we'll save 1,200 babies. How about that? What do you think, Brent?
You know, there's actually an interesting thing happened. I think it was last week, maybe the week before. A 15-year-old girl testified before Congress, before the House, and she was extremely eloquent and intelligent. She said that she had been shooting for 8 years. So since she was 7 or 8 years old, she had been shooting. And she was up for scholarships because of her shooting proficiency. And she was talking about how, and she came out with all kinds of statistics. For example, if you look at the people who have been killed by violent gun crimes, they mostly haven't been assault weapons or AK-47s. It's mostly been handguns. The mindset. I mean, she was brilliant. There's a YouTube video on it. If you do a search for 15-year-old girl, you'll probably get it just from that. But there's this crazy mindset, and I believe it just goes to the issue of control. Okay, that mindset that says that guns are the big issue. They're the big political issue. It doesn't matter if more people are dying, because of hospitals making mistakes or drunk driving or abortion, which is a big thing. It doesn't matter because that's not the political issue that we're going after. we're seeking to control the people. We're not seeking to free them. We're not seeking to give them longer lives. We're seeking to control them. So it comes back down to that same thing, that this 15-year-old girl was absolutely brilliant. All of you out there, go to YouTube, do a search for 15-year-old girl, and you'll find her. And they didn't give her name, but it was just in the last couple of weeks. And this thing about 12, I believe the number you had, 1,200, is low. I think that's official statistics on babies, on children who died through abortion. I think that's official statistics, and I believe those statistics have been shown to be wrong and very, very much undercounted.
I'm 15 years old, and I've been shooting for almost 8 years. I've also been a part of the Maryland Rifle Club and Maryland State Rifle Team since I was 11. We shoot semi-automatic AR-15s, and my personal rifle is a Bushmaster. Because of this, I have become eligible for various shooting scholarships around the country to a wide array of even the most prestigious colleges that have shooting teams. Achieving stricter gun control laws would obliterate any opportunity I could have had to attend a decent college on a shooting scholarship. Ever since I first learned how to shoot, the issue with gun violence around the nation became clear. Guns are not the problem, people are. Purging our society of violence and murder cannot be done through gun control legislation. By signing this legislation, you are not signing away gun violence, but instead liberating American citizens of our constitutional rights. You are not eliminating guns from society, but eliminating our ability to protect our lives, liberty, and pursuits of happiness. Chicago, Illinois has had some of the strictest gun control laws in America enacted for the past few years, and it is currently more than twice as likely for you to be killed in Chicago as in the Afghani War. For the past 11 years and 4 months in the Afghani War, 2,166 people have been killed. Now in only 8 years in Chicago, 4,265 people have been killed, and 3,371 of them were from being shot. Is that really something we want to model our state laws after? Now, even of those 3,371, only 37 were killed with a rifle, which is barely 1%. 98% were killed with a handgun, so creating gun control legislation that targets assault rifles has statistically proven to only weed out less than 1% of the problem if you're lucky. I'd also like to point out that none of the guns used in the Chicago shootings were registered or licensed to the people who use them, thus even further proving that simply restricting guns will not stop criminals from using them, nor will restricting guns stop criminals from harming others in general. Okay. On December 14th of 2012, the same day as the Sandy Hook shooting in central China, a man stabbed 22 children and 1 adult. Guns are not needed for mass murder, and robbing American citizens of our rights to own them won't solve anything. You must also consider the fact that the majority of gun violence occurs in low-income neighborhoods. Raising the overall cost of owning a gun through higher licensing and registration fees denies the ability of low-income individuals to protect themselves against the crime focused in the areas they live in. Passing this legislation would be discriminating against these lower-income individuals who are actually at a higher risk of being victimized in crimes. To abolish or severely limit the right of the Maryland residents as a whole to bear arms, which is the intent of the proposed legislation, is to essentially defeat the purpose of our own U.S. Constitution. The entire foundation of the United States was formed on the principle that the government, our government, is a government of the people, for the people, by the people, and taking away the people's right to bear arms is taking away the people's power in the government. The Second Amendment, which grants to citizens the right to secure their natural rights, is the backbone of our democratic society. I hope you all consider these points as you go to vote on this or any other gun control bills.
By the way, Maryland ignored everything she said, and they passed a very strict gun control law that will just screw the people and empower and embolden, as much as embolden people in government to be more egregious in their usurpation of our God-given constitutionally protected rights and, frankly, of our hard-earned property. You know, I saw
because
a story.
it is it's organized crime with a badge.
I agree with you. Listen to this, and then I'll have Chief come in. In Washington, D.C., they have now what is called the Golden Highway because they found a relatively small area, I think it's less than a mile long, where they've raised $20-some-odd million with speed cameras. Now, we tried that. I say we tried it. It was tried in a part of Cincinnati, in a community that was desperate for money. They put this in. They took in a lot of money, and guess what happened? Every business in that community went out of business because no one would come to that community anymore. So they got some speed camera money, and by the way, they lost in court, had to give it all back, and now their entire town is bankrupt, and there are no businesses left in the town to speak of, and no one will even rent an apartment in that town because no one could afford to live there because they gave you a ticket whether you were speeding or not. I did this on purpose. I tested it. I entered that city going 17 miles an hour. I never exceeded 17 miles an hour. I drove through the city. I got ready, 2 tickets on that day from 2 different speed cameras. 2 tickets. And they showed a picture of my car. And they said I was going 37 miles an hour. And who were you going to argue with? A camera? I never paid them. Chief.
Yeah, but you see, the problem with all of those is that constitutionally you are entitled to face your accuser.
Right, and that's how they defeated that. That's how they defeated that. Judge said you have to be able to confront your accuser. They made the city give back all the money and to discontinue the use. But that hasn't happened in a lot of places. I want the Chief to come in. Chief?
Well, I've been an anti-fan of the red light cameras for many, many years. And in every city that has the red light cameras, they found out that all the cameras are rigged. And you think about the government pays
to make the yellow shorter.
Yeah, and they didn't. Yep. First of all, they didn't put the cameras in where people were running red lights, and they put them in there where they can make money. And so the government pays a company to come and put these cameras in, but the companies have to make money, so they cheat. And they write tickets erroneously. They make sure the cameras write tickets that aren't valid so they can make money. But what they found out in every city that has red light cameras, in every single one, they've rigged the light system so that the people had to run the red light. And so they created many, many more rear-end crashes for people trying to avoid getting these red light tickets. They've also found out that all you had to do was to change the timing of the lights. You made yellow light longer. You made double red lights, and then no one ran the red lights anymore. They saw that without having these cameras. So what you're talking about here is the government paying for machines to arrest its citizens. It's very wrong. It's very bad.
And I believe that you are right. Now, I will get in trouble for this, but I believe you are right to destroy any such equipment. Don't want you to get caught, but it should be destroyed. And any city that authorizes that, in my opinion, needs to be taught that is wrong, and wrong. You cannot you can't win by doing wrong, and you need to do what you need to do. Vote the people out that put it in, and get in people that won't. But if that won't work, destroy the equipment. Brent?
Yes, that's exact. I mean, this is what I've been saying for years, and again, no one wants to hear it. You know, everyone wants to work through the system. When the system does not provide you legitimate remedies, then it falls to you, the people, to find those proper remedies. You have a criminal system using these cameras to make money, to essentially take your money from you without you doing anything wrong. That's theft. That's a crime. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to go to the criminals and ask them to prosecute the crime? That's never going to happen, ever. And the only solution at that point is for you to do it yourself. And that's exactly what Stan said. And by the way, all over the world, there have been, unfortunately not in America, but elsewhere, people are doing exactly that. They are dismantling, destroying these machines because they're not going to have them. And unless the American people develop that kind of commitment to their freedom, they won't have it. They won't have their freedom. Yes, we need to destroy these things. Don't get caught, but definitely we need to destroy these types of things. And by the way, I don't just limit it to machines. I think we need a revolution, an armed revolution, because I don't believe there is any other way to fix what's wrong with the American system.
Chief?
Well, let me make this point. The left, we started this with gun control, I believe. The left does not care one bit about facts and figures or about children's safety. Barack Obama has voted to murder millions and millions of unborn children. So there's no way he really cares about children being the victims of gun violence. But the left does not care one bit about facts and figures or safety. They only care about control. All these laws are designed for one thing, that's to take away our rights and to control us with taking away our guns and also taking away our ability to drive our cars.
Now, we just have a couple minutes left. In Maryland, they actually inspected abortion clinics. Do you understand, people, that the nurse's office at a grade school, the little office at the grocery store where they give you flu shots, those are all subject to inspection. But abortion clinics where people die, not to mention the babies dying, where they do invasive procedures, there's more inspection of a barber shop where they do your fingernails and cut your hair than of an abortion clinic where they go inside a woman's body and do what they do. And so now there's some pressure in Maryland, which is a leftist state, and may all the politicians there drop dead. They inspected their 16 abortion clinics, and 12 of the 16 failed totally. The other 4 barely got by. They found that they have people with no training, no medical training. They have people that haven't washed their hands after taking a bowel movement in there doing medical procedures. And yet, we're allowing this to continue because they want to kill. Now, listen. Abortion is about killing minority babies. If you don't know that, you're an idiot. The whole abortion industry was designed to kill poor people, and particularly black poor people. Hello. And that's why they want to be able to do it with dispatch and with no inhibition. If you're for abortion, I hope you die tonight. Screw you. Chief.
Ditto.
Yeah, tell us how you really feel, Stan. And one of the things you didn't mention is in some of these clinics, they've got doctors, and I use the term extremely loosely, they've got doctors who don't even wear gloves, who reuse dirty, unsterile equipment. I grew up in a medical family, so this absolutely blows my mind. They don't even wear gloves, and they don't. Oh, man! And
let me tell you another secret. Listen to this. There's a book called The Table of 34, or Table 34, I think it's called, written by Dr. Judith Reisman, Reisman. Here's the secret that no one's talking about. Do you know how many girls that go in for abortions are raped by the abortionist? They're unconscious. They're naked. They screw them. They take pictures of them. They do all kinds of things in addition to killing the baby. Because these are the lowest life forms on earth. These are doctors who have lost their licenses. These are people that never got licenses. These are drunks. These are drug addicts. These are the scum of the earth. Any doctor that does an abortion shouldn't be a doctor and shouldn't be alive. But no one talks about the women who are molested, who are raped by these abortionists. Who's going to protect them? That's just a place where these people make money while doing horrible things. This guy in Texas, abortionist, I've forgotten his name, I think it's asshole. He brags about taking the babies that are born and twisting the heads off with his bare hands.
Yes.
He enjoys it.
Yes. That's Carpin is his name. Carpin with a K.
Somebody kill Carpin, please. Kill Carpin.
Yeah, really? Really?
Twist his head off.
Yeah.
All right. Let's end with this note. Obamacare. Here's the fact. There's a story about a kid who is standing on a pier, and he's got one of those bamboo poles with a line and a hook and a worm, and he catches a whale. What are the chances he's going to bring that whale in? 0. That's what Obamacare is. There's no way in hell they'll ever institute Obamacare. They'll make you buy stuff. They'll fine you. They'll use the information against you, especially if they don't like you. But Obamacare will never work. And listen to this. Poor people, you're going to die. You're going to die, and they don't give a damn. Better prepare yourself. Chief?
The liberal left treats politics like a war, and the GOP treats it like a debate. So we must encourage everyone on our side in politics, if there is any, to start treating this like a war. We must fight back. And if they're not doing it, run for office yourself.
Brent, closing thought.
America was founded on the principle that God-given rights come from God, from the supreme creator of the universe. If you were given a gift directly from God, wouldn't you cherish that? Wouldn't you protect it and defend it? That's what's missing in America. People have forgotten that their rights come from God and their freedoms come from God. And until we start appreciating that gift for what it is, those gifts for what they are, and defending them from the thugs in government who attack them, there will be no change. We have a legacy of liberty that we're supposed to pass on to our children and them to their children and so on. And we are ignoring it at our own peril. I only pray, I only wish, that people will wake up now, put aside whatever else is going on in your life, because whatever it is, it's not as important as this. And defend your freedoms and defend them from those people attacking them, even if they're in Washington, even if they have control of the police and the military. There are more of us than there are of them. They cannot defeat us if we bond together and preserve and fight, like Steve said, like Stan said, like a war. Fight to preserve our God-given rights.
Brent, give folks your information again, how they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me. Actually, you can call me, toll-free number 888-385-FREE, which is 888-385-3733. Or just go visit my website. It's a phenomenal website. Lots of information there, especially on how you can protect your life, liberty, and property. www.freedomradio.us. And, of course, tune in regularly for the Stan Solomon Show.
Thank you, sir. Chief, any closing thought?
God bless America.
God
bless our veterans.
I like that even better. Good night, folks. Thanks for being a part of the show, and please tell 100,000 of your closest friends.